that means and what the implications are. The Scriptures do that for us, but that's it. And to the example of Christ, and what we see in those summary statements of Christ is that He went through. Going to the cross was all prelude. It was all necessary to prepare Him for the glories that awaited when He would be exalted to the right hand of God. The cross before the crown. So how does that apply to Paul and Timothy? Why does Paul bring this up? He says, Timothy, remember this. You know what Paul says? He says, he left an example for me, and I've tried to do the same thing in my life. This is why he preached the gospel. This is why he suffers hardship, he says, even to imprisonment. I'm trying to follow the example that Jesus left. Paul reflected on the same thoughts when he wrote to the Philippians, Philippians chapter 3, where he starts out in verse 7 talking about the things that were once gained to him, things he had considered to be the most important in life, now he considers to be just refuse. They don't amount to nearly as much in comparison to gaining Christ. And so he says that I may know His resurrection and the fellowship of His suffering, being conformed to His death, in order that I may attain to the resurrection from the dead. The story of Christ and the sufferings He went through, followed by His glorification, as kind of a template and as a figurative way of saying, this is how I've tried to model my life, because that's what the Lord wants me to do. He wants us before the crown. It applied to Christ, it applied to Paul, and Paul is trying to say to Timothy here, it's going to apply to you as well. That's why he says you have to suffer hardship. You have to be willing to endure these things as I have endured, because in doing so we're following an example of, and we anticipate then